Ciao Fabri, welcome back in our podcast. This January
Ciao
transfer
guys.
window has been characterized by managers, and so we go. Because after Ruben Amorim, Enzo Maresca, Xabi Alonso, do you expect more managerial changes?
Yeah, I think there will be plenty of changes very soon. First of all, I think it's going to be a busy summer, so get ready because we are going to have plenty of stories starting from Zinedine Zidane and France's job to replace Didier Deschamps after the World Cup. But I'm sure there will be plenty of opportunities of managers leaving their national teams, and so in the summer it's going to be crazy. But also, as you said, we already had Ruben Amorim, Enzo Maresca, Xabi Alonso, and many others. And I think there are more situations very tense. One to watch for sure in the next days is going to be Thomas Frank at Tottenham, because now there is a Champions League game incoming, and so obviously was not an easy decision to make for Tottenham board ahead of a Champions League game to change the manager. But at the same time, I can guarantee the situation is very, very, very tense at Tottenham. The situation is really complicated for Thomas Frank, and there is a serious possibility to see Thomas Frank and Tottenham to part ways in the upcoming days. So obviously the results always dictate everything, but the situation of Thomas Frank is really complicated, and I think he could be the next one to leave his club.
So let's go inside this story. So why Tottenham decided to trust and go on with Thomas Frank until now, and so what happened in the last days as well?
Yeah, look, they decided to trust Thomas Frank and to try to support Thomas Frank because they really trusted this project when they decided to fire Ange Postecoglou in the summer after winning the Europa League, despite winning the Europa League, and to go on with the project with Thomas Frank. So they decided to protect him till the very end. Also, last week, I think an important moment was when Tottenham announced that John Eitinga, former part of backroom staff at Liverpool with Arne Slot and former manager of Ajax, was joining Tottenham in a picture together with Thomas Frank, showing that they are back in the manager also in terms of adding people to the staff as he wants. But this is still not working. The performance against West Ham was still not good enough. They lost at home against West Ham. They didn't win one single game in their last 10. So obviously the situation is tense. And also something happened in the recent hours, and I think this is also showing how the situation is complicated. But Tottenham manager Thomas Frank decided to remove again Matis Tel from the Champions League squad list for the upcoming games and to put in again Dominic Solanke. Matis Tel is furious about that. Matis Tel is really disappointed, and his agent as well. So this could create some problems internally. So, sometimes you have to make decisions, but this is showing that the situation at Tottenham is not easy at all in this moment.
Michael Carrick started really well his spell at Manchester United after sacking Ruben Amorim, a great Manchester derby win against City over the weekend. So what kind of impact this good start of the manager will have on the next hours and on the transfer window?
I think it will have an impact. Obviously, Michael Carrick at the moment is an interim manager, so it's not a long-term project, but at the same time, the start has been fantastic. The derby has been perfect by Manchester United. The energy at Old Trafford was also very special, so a great start for Michael Carrick, but again, he's an interim manager, so he's not him deciding on the market what to do. And my understanding is that internally, Man United, in terms of big spending, probably prefer to wait for the summer when they will have a permanent manager in charge. Maybe it's going to be Michael Carrick. We will see how he's going to do it the next months, but still to spend big in the summer and to stay quiet in this January transfer window. So if there is an opportunity, Man United can go for it, but I think the real impact is on players who are already at Man United, especially for Kobbie Mainoo. 0 starts under Ruben Amorim, and then Kobbie Mainoo starting the Manchester derby on the new debut of Michael Carrick as Man United manager and having a fantastic performance. So this is showing the full trust in Kobbie Mainoo. I can tell you that Kobbie is very happy about this new opportunity. Now he feels important, and Kobbie never wanted to leave Man United on a permanent deal. It was only a loan to get minutes, to develop, to play on a regular basis. There is a World Cup incoming, but was never the plan to leave Man United on a permanent deal. And so now he has the opportunity to play at Man United. He's more than happy, and so I think at the end Kobbie Mainoo is going to stay at the club.
So we all know what's going to happen in the next month. Every day we're going to have rumors about potential new candidates for the Man United job. So there were already rumors about Gareth Southgate and Xavi as potential candidates for the summer. What do you say about that?
I don't want to exclude anything at this stage because, it's too early, as we said. First of all, Michael Carrick, I think, especially after the debut, he deserves some time to show his qualities, and maybe he will have an opportunity. I'm sure, as I already mentioned on our podcast on Many Blazers, Man United at the same time will still work on the process to find the short list of managers they want to appoint in the summer. So at the moment, it's too early to say yes or no, but it's also important to say that Premier League experience will be a factor. And so in this moment, this is why I don't believe that Xabi is the leading candidate, despite rumors coming from Spain. I believe that Xabi would love to go to Man United or Premier League clubs. He would love to return after the Barcelona experience he did now some time ago, but at the moment he's very quiet with Man United. And on Gareth Southgate, I think we keep having links from England because the relationship between Southgate and people at Ineos, people close to Sir Jim Ratcliffe, is very good. But that doesn't mean that Gareth Southgate is going to be the new Man United manager. Let me say, if they wanted Southgate, they also had the chance to call him now and to have him immediately, and they didn't. So at the moment, also on this, I don't have any confirmation so far.
There was a lot of tension in the last days between Oliver Glasner and Crystal Palace. So how is the situation evolving, and what do you think will be the future? I mean, he was really clear about that.
Yeah, I'm not surprised because it was Christmas Day when I shared that Oliver Glasner was going to leave Crystal Palace at the end of the season. People were not believing that, but was the reality. Oliver Glasner was never going to sign a new deal at Crystal Palace. He already decided a long time ago, and around Christmas he informed the club once again that he was not going to sign a new contract. So now it's official that he's going to leave at the end of the season. But after that press conference following the defeat against Sunderland, it was a really tense situation also between Oliver Glasner and Crystal Palace. So another situation to watch. Now, the decision for now is to keep going together, Oliver Glasner and Crystal Palace, try to find a solution on the market. But that press conference was explosive. Glasner said, we feel abandoned, we feel that players are leaving the day before the game, and it happened with Marc Guéhi, with Berechiez in the summer. So it's not an easy situation for Glasner. He will leave for sure at the end of the season. Now, let's see how the next games will go. But I can say that Oliver Glasner is already, people close to him are already planning for the future steps, because obviously there are clubs interested. And so I think he's going to be one of the names we will see in the managerial market in the summer.
A solid start with Chelsea for Liam Rosenior at the club, 2 wins in 3 games. Is he kind of involved in the transfer conversation in January or not yet?
He's involved. Chelsea, usually as a club, always work with the board deciding, so the management, the owners, all together. So it's the club deciding. The manager is not deciding who are they signing, but the manager can be involved, obviously, in the conversation, and Rosenior would love to have one more centre-back. The name is Jérémy Jacquet. Chelsea are going all in for this talented defender from Rennes. They already did a mission on Friday last week to meet face-to-face with Rennes and with people close to the player. Chelsea have an agreement in principle with Jérémy Jacquet on the contract, but still no agreement with Rennes. Rennes want 65 million euros, around 65, 70, so a record sale for the club. At the moment, still no agreement with Chelsea, because Chelsea want to spend less, so there is a negotiation ongoing, but they will get a defender in this window. They have a 3-man shortlist, and Jérémy Jacquet is number 1, so I think Chelsea will go all in to give Rosenior one more defender.
So Real Madrid have started a new era with Álvaro Arbeloa. We know all what happened on the weekend. It was crazy to see that scenes at the Bernabeu. Also the reaction of the fans for Vinicius. Does this managerial change have also impact on the future of Vinicius, or that doesn't not matter really?
The situation between Arbeloa and Vinicius is positive, but I think it's more about Xabi Alonso. The relationship between Xabi Alonso and Vinicius was never a great relationship. Was never a fantastic relationship on the human and technical side in terms of relationship manager-player. So despite they've been able around November, December, beginning of January to sort a bit the situation with those issues, my understanding is that there was a problem for Vinicius with Xabi Alonso. So obviously this is why he was not signing a new contract at the club. Now it's on Vinicius to decide, because Real Madrid want Vinicius to sign a new contract. Florentino Perez wants Vinicius to sign a new contract. Real Madrid are just waiting for Vini. It's in Vini's hands. And now, not to have Xabi Alonso at the club. And if you see the press conferences from Álvaro Arbeloa, I think he did 3 or 4 conferences so far since he joined the club. And in every press conference, he says, Vinicius is crucial for us. I will always put Vinicius on the pitch. So the message from Arbeloa is very clear. And I think this is also coming from Real Madrid, because they want Vini to sign a new contract.
Talking about the future of Real Madrid, should we consider or rule out Jurgen Klopp as a potential new candidate for the job?
Yeah, on this Klopp story, there are many news and stories and rumors in the last week, obviously. Let me say what I know. I know that Jurgen Klopp has some fans into the Real Madrid management, into the Real Madrid board. So Jurgen Klopp is for sure appreciated by Real Madrid. But Real Madrid, first of all, have not approached Jurgen Klopp. So when Klopp goes public these days and says there is nothing, just media hype is the reality, because at the moment there is no negotiation, no contact, no meeting, nothing. There is an appreciation in Jurgen Klopp, but Klopp has another role at the moment. He's working for Red Bull Group, he's head of football, he's not working as part of the technical stuff. And so at the moment, it's on Jurgen Klopp. Real Madrid, for their attitude and how they work, they will never go there and try to convince Jurgen Klopp. If Jurgen Klopp wants to return to management, Real Madrid could be obviously interested if they decide to go for a new manager, because Arbeloa will have his opportunity in the next months. So let's see what happens with Arbeloa first. Let's respect Arbeloa, and then we will see. But at the moment, this is the situation with Klopp. Depends on what Klopp wants to do with his life and his career in the near future.
Last one for today. Do you think Xabi Alonso will be back soon on the market?
I think so. I think yes, because talking to many people in the market, agents, directors, people at the club, players as well, the feeling around Xabi Alonso is still very positive. Obviously, this spell at Real Madrid was not a great one. It was disappointing for everyone, for the club, for the manager, for the players. It's been very sad to see this situation for Xabi Alonso at Real Madrid, but people know that this story was more about human relationship between Xabi Alonso and the dressing room, rather than being Xabi Alonso a bad manager or not able to coach a team at this level. Not at all. He's really appreciated, and I think he's going to be part of the managerial madness very soon, because many clubs are really interested in Xabi, and what he did at Bayer Leverkusen is still something unbelievable. So he's still really, really appreciated into the managers market.
Thank you for that. Talk to you soon. Ciao.
Thank you. Ciao, guys.